Hello students, today we shall learn about anatomy of flowering plants class 11 and NCERT exercise question and answers part 2. If you missed my previous video, that is part 1, then go and check it out and the link was providing in the description box below. So go and check it out. Welcome back once again in your biology class. This is Nausin and you are watching your most favorite channel, Educational Support. So, my lovely students, are you ready? So let's get started. Question number 5 is, cut a transverse section of young stem of a plant from your school garden and observe it under the microscope. How would you ascertain whether it is a monocot stem or a dicot stem? Give reason. So, vascular bundles in dicot stems are arranged in a ring, whereas in monocot stem, vascular bundles are scattered throughout the ground tissues. On the basis of arrangement of vascular bundles, it can be ascertained whether the younger stem is dicot or monocot. So, besides undifferentiated ground grasses or ground tissues, sclerenchymatous, hypodermis, oval or circular vascular bundles with Y-shaped and Y-shaped xylem and other differentiating features of monocot. So you can see in this picture very clearly. Question number 6 is, the transverse section of a plant material shows the following anatomical features. The vascular bundles are conjoined, scattered and surrounded by a sclerenchymatous bundle cells and phloem parenchyma is absent. What will you identify it is? So the plant material is identified as a monocot stem. You can know that. Question number 7 is, why are xylem and phloem called complex tissues? Very important questions. So a group of different types of cells which perform common functions is called the complex tissues. You know that. So xylem and phloem are called complex tissues as well as all cells that work as a unit for a common function have different structural organization. So xylem has 4 types of cells. You know that are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and the xylem fibers. So phloem consists of sieve tube elements, companion cells and phloem parenchyma and the phloem fibers. So xylem is associated with conduction of water, basically, and minerals from roots to tap of plants, and phloem is responsible for the transport of organic foods. Question number 8 is, what is stomatal apparatus and explain the structure of the stomata with a label diagram. So stomata is structures present in the epidermis of leaves. Stomata regulates the process of transpirations and gases exchange, and each stomata is composed of 2 bean-shaped cells known as Gerth cells. You can see in this picture very clearly. So the outer walls of Gerth cells are from the stomatal pore are thin and the inner walls that was towards the stomatal pore are highly thickened. So the Gerth cells possesses chloroplast and regulate the opening and the closing of stomata, and a few epidermal cells in the vicinity of the Gerth cells become specialized in their shape and size and are known as subsidiary cells. So the stomata aperture and the Gerth cells and the surrounding cells are together called the stomatal apparatus. So you can see in this picture very clearly, and this is a diagrammatic representation of stomatal apparatus. Question number 9 is, name the 3 basic tissue systems in the flowering plants and give the tissue names under each system. So the 3 basic tissue systems in flowering plants are epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system and the vascular tissue system. You know that. So epidermal tissue system comprises epidermal cells, stomata, trichomes and hairs. Ground tissue systems consist of cortex, endodermis, pericycle, pith and the medullary rays in the primary root and the stem. And in leaves, the ground tissue system consists of thin-walled chloroplast containing cells and is called the mesophyles. So the vascular tissue systems consisting of complex tissues, and the phloem and the xylem. Question number 10 is, how is the study of plant anatomy useful to us? It's a very, very important question. So, study of plant or study of internal structures of plant is basically called the plant anatomy. You know that. So, study of plant anatomy is useful for many purposes. For solving taxonomic problems, for knowing homology and analogy of the various plant groups, to differentiate the superior and inferior, standard and substandard, or specified or unspecified woods. So, in establishing purity and correct identity of plant parts in pharmaceuticals or characters or possibilities, science connected with sources, medicine, medical uses, and is knowing the structural peculiarities, basically peculiarities of different groups of plants. So, that's why it's very, very important, or that's why it's very, very useful to us. Question number 11 is, what is paiderm and how does paiderm formation take place in the dicot stems? So, phylloderm and phyllogen or phylem together constitutes the periderm. You know that. So, periderm is protective in function. Dicot stem produce core cambium or the phyllogen in the outer cortical cells, and phyllogen cells divide on both the outer wall, outer side as well as the inner side to form the secondary tissues. So, the secondary tissues produces on the inner side of the phyllogen is called the secondary cortex or phylloderm. On the outer side, the phyllogen produces core called the phylum. Question number 12 is, describe the internal structure of a dorsoventral leaf with the help of label diagram. So, the dorsoventral leaves are found in basically dicot, you know that. So, the important anatomical features of dorsoventral leaves are discussed below. Basically, upper epidermis, this is generally outermost single layer made of parenchymatous cells, and the epidermal cells have sometimes outer growths called the papillae. That is in gladius. The epidermal cells are devoid of chloroplast and the stomata are absent on the upper epidermis. So, in the lower epidermis, it is just like upper epidermis, but here stomata are present. Chloroplasts are absent in lower epidermis also, except the girth cells of stomata. So, next is mesophyll cells and the palisade parenchyma. So, mesophyll cells basically in between upper and lower epidermis, mesophyll tissue is present, which can be divided into the two regions. That first one is the palisade and the second one is the spongy. So, palisade, these are elongated columnar cells without intracellular spaces, and these have chloroplast in them and are generally arranged in two rows, two layers. You can see it very clearly. And the spongy parenchyma that are found below the palisade parenchyma and are spherical or oval with the intracellular spaces, and they also have chloroplast, but number of chloroplast is more in palisade parenchyma than spongy parenchyma. So, vascular bundles, last one is the vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are generally found at the boundary between the palisade parenchyma and the spongy parenchyma. So, the vascular bundle is midrib region is largest, and the vascular bundles are conjoined, collateral and closed. So, if you dear like this video, then please subscribe my channel and please share it among the students level. Thank you for watching. Make sure there's subscribe button and click on the bell, and stay tuned with educational support for more biology related topics. So, tata, bye bye, see you in the next video.